Hello, Libra. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Libra. Actually, really interesting energy as I sat down to do this reading. I've been a little bit busy of late. My son has got like a flu or something, and so I've been kind of busy momming him and doing other stuff. And it's a good time right now, and I was really feeling like it's time to do Libra's reading. And right, we're doing the Oakman. The Oakman? For you, as I sat down, it was interesting because it just feels like things have been bustling around me. As I sat down to do this reading, it just felt like almost like a sigh of relief. Almost, I want to say, I don't know, I feel like maybe some of you have been like really anticipating the Libra reading through the Oakman. It kind of felt like that, like, oh, finally, here we are, here we go, been waiting for this. And it was almost like the energy like just cleared away, like just clear this energy, clear this path, let this energy come through to be read. And yeah, okay, so here's the other thing too. Like I've been using the this fairy deck for a couple of the private readings that I've done. And when I do that, I do shuffle the Oakman card back in. So it's, mixed in with there. But then when it's time to do the reading of the Oakman, I'll go in and I'll find them and I'll pull them out of the forest. And so I picked up the deck and they were right on the bottom. I was like, whoa, it really does feel like it's time, like they've been waiting to do this message for you. You've been waiting to receive this message from them. So that was an interesting energy. So we're going to get into it. You have a channeled message first. I'm channeling a message to each of the signs from the Oakman in these readings. So this is about something about closing off a 5-year cycle that I got as a message from the Oakman. That's why I'm going through the zodiac with them. It's closing off a 5-year cycle, whatever that could mean to any of you. And it was kind of like I saw each zodiac sign kind of like hand in hand with a fairy being escorted out of a forest, like out of a dark forest. So we're going to look into what energy escorts you out of the dark forest. Is kind of closing off a 5-year cycle for you. But before we do that, we're going to get into the channeled message that we have for you. Very interesting message that we have, Libra. A stranger waits for you. There's 2 people from different places about to cross paths, or meant to cross paths, I should say. A stranger waits for you, Libra. 2 people, you are one of these 2 people from different places, meant to cross paths. Some of you may have always felt that there is a person, or there is the person for you. You know, it's almost like someone is out there. You sense them, you feel them. But you haven't found them yet. Well, if you haven't found them, some of you may have found this person already, but some of you may have not. If you haven't, trust and believe. Now, that's interesting because trust and believe is really accentuated here for everybody. So maybe even some of you that have already found this person, it is to trust and believe. You've walked many paths, you've been up and down many streets. Many of you feel like it's gone on forever. But this person is also looking for you. You'll know them amongst all of the other strangers from how they make you feel, or by how they make you feel. By how they make you feel. So that's your message. Now, the channeled message, I haven't channeled the message for the extended. I just have kind of like the context of it. It has something to do with a generation that waits in the shadows. So what that's about, that's interesting. So we're going to get started with the fairies. The fairies, the Oakmen who run the forest, the fairies, the Oakmen. Okay. What is the fairy energy that escorts Libra out of the forest, that escorts Libra out of the darkness? Interesting. You have 3. You have the Piper, the Rar, and Unity. I think the Unity card is really interesting considering what your channeled message was. It's almost like it's drawing you. It's not holding your hand. It's almost like it feels like you wouldn't take its hand. The fairy energy feels like, no, Libra won't take my hand. There's something independent here about Libra. Libra wouldn't take my hand. The Piper card, right, it can be about music, harmony, seduction, communication without words, gentle persuasion, and patient persuasion. The Rar is wild potential energy. It's almost like, with the wild potential energy with the Rar, it's enticing. There's something like enticing that's drawing you out of this forest. And well, isn't it funny? It's unity. I'm going to go in the book for the unity card and like pick up the details about that. It does feel like, to me, like feeling one with everything around you and understanding the connection of like, even at a cosmic nuclear level, like how all energy is connected. I keep going back to your channeled message here, because even those that are strangers to us, we are still connected to all of them through unity. But some of these threads of connection are stronger. There's literally like someone where there's a thread of connection that you have with this person that is stronger. There's a sense of not getting carried away as well. Like that comes with the Rar. And then it's funny, right? Because the Piper is like patient persuasion. Patient, gentle persuasion, polite persuasion. That all really feels like almost like an invitation. It feels like almost an invitation for you to proceed in a certain direction. And maybe that's literal for some of you. Like maybe you will have some type of an invitation. And it's up to you. Do you accept it? Let's go into the unity card. Number one. It's like an ace. Union, mystical experiences, spiritual home. When this card comes up in a reading, it is asking us to remember the mystical concept that we are all one, unified in a holistic universe. It reminds us to look at the needs and goals we have in common with others and to seek cooperation and community action rather than attempting to do everything on our own. To achieve our goals, we need the active cooperation of others. And to get that cooperation, we must be helpful to them and willing to work with their ideas as well as our own. It suggests that we think of things in terms of equal partnerships rather than in lines of hierarchical authority. Unity also tells us that we have much to gain by remembering our own wholeness. Resolution of inner conflict is often necessary before we move ahead. It is important at this time that we work toward cooperation and reconciliation within and without. Seek the highest good of all involved, and not merely your idea of highest good. Ask for the divine energy of unity to permeate and guide you. Wow. Okay, so here's the other thing I'm getting with this. I'm getting a little bit of a resistance here, because all of this energy feels as though it's trying to lure you. It's trying to invite you. Some of you may not want to come out of the forest. I don't know what you're doing in the forest. Or you may not be ready to conclude a 5-year cycle here. But you are being guided to do that. I kind of wonder if this energy, if you decide not to take it, not to proceed, not to make some type of change, that the universe is kind of saying it's time to change here. How this Rar energy might change. Like the Rar energy can be something that ends up overwhelming us. It can become too powerful if we let it just bounce around madly without utilizing the energy in a way that is advantageous to us as opposed to possibly detrimental. There's something, I'm almost seeing you like sitting kind of in like a lotus pose, or yeah, just sitting in the forest, and to some extent enjoying, I want to say there's some level of peace, of cool contemplation. And it's almost like sitting there and watching the other zodiac signs walk by. The other energies, the other people walk by. So these fairies, the fairy energy, yeah, you're not holding any fairy hand right now. Fairy is trying to entice you, is trying to encourage you forward. But for whatever reason, there does seem to be some resistance here. Could be some of you, it could be chaotically playful. If it's almost as if, I know this is the path I'm supposed to go down, what happens if I don't? What does that make? Others of you might be resistant because it could be a cycle that you've gotten very comfortable in and you don't want to move into something different. And then, I feel like some of you you're like allowing yourselves to be intrigued and enticed by whatever is trying to pull you forward. What's your underline? The Sage. I looked at it in the reverse. So let's explore it. As I picked the deck up, I did look at it in the reverse. What's interesting is, if I want to choose to look at the Sage in the upright, Soulless is in the reverse. If I want to choose to look at the Sage in the reverse, Soulless is in the upright. What's going on? I feel like there's some energy here that desires to go a little bit against the grain. Let's look at both of them, okay? Right, the Sage is wisdom, hidden knowledge, retreat, old age, and patience. Now, I'm gonna first explore it with you in the way the deck, I picked it up and looked at it, and it was in the reverse. And then we'll look at, right, and then that means Soulless is in the upright. When the wisdom of the Sage is blocked, artificial or inappropriate boundaries are set between different aspects of life. We become unable to apply learning in one sphere to other aspects of life, or information is withheld, kept secret when it could benefit others, which in turn would benefit us. Sometimes learning is blocked by the belief that we already have all the answers, but we never actually do. Twisted, the Sage's accumulation of facts and information becomes unwisdom. Knowledge misused and distorted. Facts distorted for selfish purposes. Information used to the detriment of others. There is always a risk of this when we set out to prove something rather than to discover something. Other twists include being excessively critical, being cold and uncaring, or being cynical or embittered. These are all faults of balance. Interesting, balance, Libra. At its worst, knowledge and experience are channeled toward the destruction of the self for others. That is actually a very dark energy. It is a very dark energy. If any of you are experiencing this in the reverse, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe you're like, I'm still sitting in this dark energy and I'm not ready to go forward. Others of you may be wanting to go forward, but it may not. It's almost like there could be, right, like a path for you that's in this direction. But I want to say, oh, that's interesting. There's a type of rebellion about you, Libra. There's a type of rebellion about you. And it's almost like coming across to me, rebellious for the sake of it, to see what could happen. That's interesting. A generation waits in the shadows. When I got that, I felt almost like it did feel a little rebellious. Okay, so Soulless, that's almost like a supporting energy behind that. So let's look at that. knowledge, consciousness, synthesis, spiritual empowerment. Soulless is radiant, energizing, and vitalizing. The presence in a reading often indicates that something new is being brought into being in our lives, partly through our own efforts or partly through the help we are receiving from other realms. Miracles may take place. Movement into the light is occurring. This is a time for taking action, passing on our blessings and learning, and for service given from a position of strength. Okay, I want to stop right here because I feel like all of you, regardless of how you're feeling about your sage energy, you could all be quite intelligent and quite mystically wisdom based, but it's almost as if the combination of these two are telling me that you don't really know what's there. This is some type of enlightenment and truth and the best path for you. But it's almost like a resistance. There's an odd resistance here. There's perhaps a resistance to believe. There's a resistance to what the path seems to be and where you think you should be going. This, honestly, how I first picked up the deck feels like the truest interpretation of this energy. Because what's interesting, even if we do it like this, which is how I just kind of instinctively corrected it and made the sage in the upright, that would mean that Soulless is actually reversed. And when the light and spiritual empowerment of Soulless is veiled, we need to remember that this singer is there to help with seemingly lost causes and forlorn hopes. When you don't even know what to ask for his help and guidance, and then do the best you can for yourself. That to me feels like, yeah, something being lost, but okay, where was your channeled message here? You've walked many paths and been up and down many streets, and it may feel like it goes on forever, right? There could even be something that some of you are experiencing about a block in understanding and knowing your future. I think we're going to stick it with that. Do you want me to read you the sage and I'll read you the sage in the upright. The thing with it though is, even if you want to take that in the upright, Soulless is in the reverse, and Soulless is one of the singers. Is he the final singer? He is. And right, this is a singer. This is the first, oh my God, this is the first singer. Well, no, actually I shouldn't say that. There's one that is 0. There's a singer, the 0 card. Guidance, direct communication with fairy. And then this one is understanding how we're all connected. So it is starting at 1. It's almost like fool to magician, right? So it does feel important that Soulless be in the upright. Allow yourself to not know, to have certain blocks. There may be boundaries that have been created here around you by spirit, by fairy, for you not to see precisely into the future. And maybe that's why some of you are not sure about what direction should I proceed in? What is it that I should really do here? There's energy here, but what do I do with it? Follow it. Follow the energy. Yeah. All right. Oh, I didn't read it to you. Okay. This is the upright sage. Here we see wisdom and deep inner understanding. One of the keys of wisdom is to organize, integrate, and simplify one's thoughts. Complexity often leads to confusion. Simplicity is to be valued. This card signifies mental discipline informed by balance, learning, and compassion. Tradition is valued, but appropriate change is accepted. The sage knows when to let go and when to move on. He knows when to retreat and think things over. He compassionately and wisely shares his knowledge with others, teaching by example as well as by precept. The scales of justice are balanced in the sage's hands. This card in a reading also signifies the need for deep consideration and refined judgment applied with compassion and mercy. There you go. That's your fairy energy. Not done your reading though. We're going to see. Well, I guess I'm going to see, yeah. I'm going to pull out a wild unknown oracle card to go with each one of these fairies. the Piper, the Rar, and the Unity card. The Piper. Whoa, the spider web. Right? It's almost seeing like a spider plucking the threads. There's something that does that. Is there not a spider or an insect that plucks on thread? Oh. It's something to draw the spider in. I'm getting a mate. Who does that? Is that the Black Widow? That's a very interesting visual that I'm getting with that. It is. I think it is. I could be wrong. There's definitely a breed of spider that does that. And I feel like it's the male. The female, often in the spider world, often in the insect world, the female is like huge compared to the male. And the male needs to proceed with caution in that situation. I think like praying mantises are a bit the same too. So that was fun, buddy, and I'm going to eat your head. Chop off your head. There's something about that. Why do I feel like it's the Black Widow spider? And she'll be sitting on her web, and a male will approach, and he'll delicately pluck the strings. What, even like saying that feels musical. That's crazy, you know? Delicately pluck. It's enticing. It's follow the vibration. Follow the vibration. Follow the energy. Follow where you're being led. It's so prominent, Libra. But now here's the thing. There does feel like an element of risk in that, because there is, like, I don't know if it's like 9 times out of 10 or 50% of the time. I'm not sure what that is with the Black Widow. But it's up to how he threads. If he doesn't do it quite right, she'll mistaken him for prey and she'll eat him. And then, you know, that's it. He never got to breed, and that's the end of his line right there. Then, this is a very delicate, someone is trying very delicately, something is trying very delicately to guide you. Why? It just feels like, right? Whatever's trying to guide you, it feels like there's almost risk involved in it with that. It could be misinterpreted as something yummy to eat, and not in that way. Like that's it. A snack, a full-on snack to be digested. I'm going to stop there. It's not getting any better. That's fascinating. Patient, gentle, polite persuasion. Because even when she approaches, okay, like she'll be intrigued and she's like, okay, this is not prey, but do I like him? I feel like he still has to do like this little dance. Usually, like anything I've seen, you know, in the nature, like I'm sure David Attenborough has totally narrated one of these situations. And he has to be very careful the whole time. The Rar. Oh, the deer. Delicate, gentle, cautious energy, unity, the lizard, the lizard, you might be, I don't know. There's something about your energy that feels a little bit like you don't want to come out of the forest, or you feel safe in your habitat. You're comfortable in a cycle, perhaps. Some of you may have become overwhelmed with the connection that you have to like the cosmos or all others here, because the lizard is an empath energy. It's an empathic energy. And it's, you know, often when it comes out in a reading, it's talking about the need to withdraw, the need to recharge your batteries, the need to reground yourself and become familiar with your own energy again while removing other energies. And unity talks, right, like this connection we have to all others. This is also like cautiously looking, you know, like a doe. You know, if something catches her attention, she'll watch for quite a while. Very skittish, can be very skittish, very alert. I don't know what's going on. You're very skittish and very alert, and something is trying very gently to guide you. Oh, fascinating energy. The dragon and the elephant. It's almost like the eye of God watches you proceed very carefully. The elephant too, I'm also picturing is like the slowest one moving out of the forest. Going. And again, whether it's because you don't trust the direction or you're comfortable where you are, but it's a very curious energy, Libra. Or not wanting to shift some type of balance, perhaps, that you've also created in your life. All right, let's get a tarot card to go with each one of these. I know some of you could be like the female spider in this, and some of you could be the male. I mean, she's not called the Black Widow. Well, the Daughter of Cups is very gentle. It's sweet. The Deer with Ra. Whoa! The Nine of Swords. There is worry here. Why are you worried? There's worried. Or is somebody worried about your reaction? I don't know. It's very interesting. Unity Lizard. The Ten of Wands. Wow, this is definitely... Oh, I kind of want to say some of you have really been through it with, like, relationships in general, with that Unity card and the connection that we have to all things. I don't know why it feels like, you know, with this card, you see how observant the doe is, and then these eyes are both actually kind of looking in different directions. And it is kind of giving me that feeling of, you know, with the Ra there, that there's a lot going on. There could be a lot going on in some of your lives here. Or it feels like there's a lot going on out there, and you're not sure how much you want to get involved with that. Oh, look at you showing up right at the end of your reading with the Justice card. Well, that's very interesting, Libra. I'm really getting quite a visual in my mind's eye with that spider. And that gentle persuasion. That's exactly what that is. Tapping on the web to draw you in. But it has to be intriguing. It can't show up as prey, and I don't know. Okay. There you go. That's what's going on. Nobody holding your hand. They're kind of like trying to draw you out. Like I said, I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I am going to pick up all the cards. We're going to do an open message to you from the Oakman. It could be something about the past, present, or future, or it just could be words of wisdom, whatever the Oakman want to do. And then before I start recording that reading, I'm going to look more into this channeled message, a generation waits in the shadows. So that's fascinating. That could even be for some of you. This could even be like becoming a mother or father with that. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Thank you so much, Libra. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.